understanding what to expect, and is our step on learning SuccessFactor is the right step. Okay, so what we would be seeing today are the topics which are listed in front of you. So introduction to SuccessFactor, solutions offered by SuccessFactor, provisioning and one admin. I will take you through what is these system are about. System architecture, SAP and SuccessFactor integration, and for Q3 2016, what are the updates that have come up, that have been brought up by SuccessFactor. Okay, so going to the introduction to SuccessFactor. SuccessFactor is an American multinational company headquartered in San Francisco, California. SuccessFactor basically provides, or it is a cloud-based solution for human capital management. SuccessFactor's talent management applications were so much efficient and had all functionalities in it, where SAP's existing performance management, recruiting, learning module features were not competitive enough. So in 2011, so to give you an idea, SuccessFactor is an human capital management system software solution by itself. So it is not a part of an SAP system initially to begin with. It was a separate entity by itself. And SAP and SuccessFactor were two different companies. So what happened is, as you could see, as I told you, the talent management applications, when I say talent management, the performance management applications and the recruiting applications and learning module were not so efficient with SAP. So SAP's process and SAP's way of display of information and SAP's way of processing all the information for these business area for HR was not competitive enough, so it could gain the market. So what happened is, in 2011, SAP announced merger with SuccessFactor as a part of its strategic alliance. In 2013, SuccessFactor themselves had 11.5 million learning management system users. Over 4,000 customers were using the talent management system of SuccessFactor. In order to effectively integrate SAP and SuccessFactor application, SAP opened up the SAP HANA Cloud Platform. I would like to, for the sake of the audience today, I want to know, does anyone know what is SAP is all about? Okay. I could not see anyone speaking, so I presume that you would need information on what is SAP is all about. SAP is an enterprise resource application where all the business process can be managed and processed by the business. So when I say business process, it could be sales and distribution, it could be production, it could be finance, it could be HR, human resources, where all these business different processes can be handled and managed through the application. So SAP was an enterprise resource planning application which caters almost 47 to 49 countries requirement when it comes to different business process like production planning, finance, human resources. So what we are trying to do here is SAP's human capital management module has specific sub-modules with it, or has specific business processes. If you had done an MBA or if you had already worked in HR field, you would be knowing the different process for the HR business. Swapna, Shweta, will you be able to tell me the business process or the different activities that you would be doing under an HR department in a company?
I don't know, ma'am.
Okay,
Is it
that's okay.
something related to planning or organizing the, yeah?
Okay, so yeah, it's part of planning and organizing. So what HR would be planning and organizing? So will they be organizing what material is going to come and what material is going to go, or how the production is going to happen? What is the stock level? No, right? So HR is basically management of employees, right? That's what human resources is about. So how do we manage the employees? So how do we bring in the employees is what we learn, what we do in recruitment. So how do we manage the employees data is what we do in personal administration. And how do we evaluate the employees performance, because we would have to give them bonus, we would have to do an annual appraisal. So how do we do the appraisals? How to manage the appraisals is what is performance management is about. And how do the exits happen? So when a team member employee is leaving the company, how does it happen? And then we have something called training, right? Where we will have to develop the existing skills of the team members, where we will have to provide them training specific to their existing skill sets, which will help them grow and contribute to the organization, right? So that is training is part of an HR activity. Then we have, I think I covered most of it for you. And then what are all the costs? Yeah.
What about the orientation? Is it a part of the HR process?
Yes, orientation is part of the onboarding process.
Okay.
Okay, so once the employee is hired, there are set of functionalities which has to be done along working with the employee, so that all his joining formalities are complete. So that's what we call as an orientation or an onboarding process. Okay.
Okay.
So to basically summarize, all these HR activities like recruitment, performance administration, personal administration, sorry, where when the employee moves from one position to another, or when he gets promoted, when he goes on leave, so all these have to be managed, right? That's what we do in personal administration. And we have something called an organizational management, where we would be, if you join in a company as an analyst, okay, or an administrative associate. So then there would be different positions. Either you could be an administrative associate, or you could be a manager in the organization, or you could be an assistant manager. So these are all the different positions, and how they move is what we learn in organization management. So then we have once onboarding and hiring is done, then comes personal administration. Then we have something called, we have the performance management, we have learning. So these are all interconnected process that is oriented towards the retaining, recruiting, retaining, and developing the human resources of the organization. So having spoken about the different areas of HR, so what does SAP help me? SAP helps me to run all these processes in the system and make it effective, and enables me to get the relevant reports, so that I could make decisions on how much to pay the employee, how much should I give an hike. So all these reports and analytics will help the management to decide on how they need to channelize the human resources in their organization. So SAP is the system which helps you to run all these processes. So what is this success factor? Success factor is also an system similar to this, which is also having all these processes to run. So then why SAP and success factor? Why are we calling SAP success factor? So that's where if you could read the third point, you could know the talent management applications. So when I say talent management applications, performance management, recruiting, and learning, these features were better in SuccessFactor than compared to SAP. So what SAP basically does is, if they are not able to enhance a specific module, they will try to go into merger with another company where they are so strong in those areas. So that's basically the SAP's normal strategic movement. Okay. So in order to take advantage of the functionalities given by the SuccessFactor system on the talent management modules, SAP went into alliance with SuccessFactor, and in order to make this system integrate together and work on a specific one platform, they created something called the SAP HANA platform. So this one is all in cloud. When I say cloud, if you go online and type the URL, you will be given an URL by SuccessFactor. So when you go and type the URL and when you log in with an ID and password, you will be able to record and maintain all the processes on the cloud platform. You need not have a separate hardware that needs to be set in the back end of your office in order to make these processes run. Okay, so I will take you through more on what will happen and what is the hardware, what is HANA going forward during the course. Okay, so so having told about an introduction on SAP and having just given you a brief on what are all the HR functionalities, I would like to show you the solutions that's offered by SAP SuccessFactor. So as I told you, these are the functionalities or the processes, HR processes that can run on SAP SuccessFactor. Okay. So recruiting, learning, employee central and cloud payroll, compensation, JAM, mobile applications, onboarding, performance and goals, succession and development, workforce planning, and workforce analytics. So we will go through each one of the module on what is it all about and the key concepts on each module in the further slides, so that it will help you to know what it does and what it could do for the business. Okay. Before going into each module wise explanation, so what will happen? So we talked about SAP and SuccessFactor getting merged, right? So what is going to happen? SAP is basically an on-premise solution, and SuccessFactor is basically a cloud-based solution. So when I say on-premise solution, you should be having an laptop or a desktop with you to work on SAP. Okay, but when I say cloud, it's basically you wherever you have an internet connection, you go into the URL and you can work on the processes. Okay, this is a simple definition on what is an on-premise solution and what is a cloud solution. So what will happen is, in future, when SAP and SuccessFactor is going to go together, where it is, when I say in future, it doesn't mean that they are not together now. They are, there has been already integrations between SAP SuccessFactor and cloud and SAP and SuccessFactor. But as you know, SAP itself is an ERP. which supports specific HR processes. And SuccessFactor is also an ERP which is supporting the same set of HR processes. So how will the clients use both the system and one place? So what SAP has proposed is, going forward, the modules or the business process, HR business process, which is highlighted in white, will not be worked for any developments. So if a client is looking for a better functionality in performance and goals process, or compensation, or succession and development, recruiting and boarding and learning, all these modules will not be developed by SAP on-premise solutions. So SAP will not work on development for enhancing the functionality on on-premise solutions. So SuccessFactor will be offering these solutions. So when a client wants to use the business process for business performance goals, compensation, succession and development, recruiting and onboarding and learning, they need to go and use SuccessFactor. They might not be able to use SAP on-premise solution. So this is how SAP is basically trying to detangle from themselves from the modules which SuccessFactor is strong on. Okay. This would basically give you the importance of the future on what SuccessFactor is going to have. So there are different databases which SAP keeps upgrading. So currently for SAP it is ECC6, which is the updated the current database. And if a business wants to enhance to HANA platform, because the next database would be HANA platform, they need to get the services of SAP SuccessFactor for using the above functionalities. So in HANA platform, all these highlighted modules in white can be used only through SuccessFactor. So indirectly, if an SAP client is going to upgrade to HANA platform, where it would become necessary for them in coming years, they have to use SuccessFactor. There, by this you would know how much SuccessFactor has scope in future and how much SuccessFactor would be part of an SAP solution. Okay. So having told you about how SAP is going to integrate and what's going to happen when it comes to the different HR solutions, HR business processes, I will take you through now on each module. What is it all about? As we saw the set of modules in the slide before. So each of these modules, I will take you through a bit information on what it does. Okay. So the first one is called, the module is called the Employee Central. So in this module is where it's the foundation for all talent management modules. So before I go into what is it about, it is the core HR application that enables to create, maintain and store employee related information. When I say employee related information, employee related movements within the organization, it could be a hiring, promotion or a pay change. The employee could go on a leave of absence, or the employee could leave the organization. So all these processes are handled in the Employee Central module. Employees' personal information and organizational information is maintained here. Employee Central forms as the foundation for all other processes to take place. Okay, so Employee Central takes care of information related to a person. When I say person, my date of birth, my nationality, my marital status. So all those personal information will be stored in this module. and my employment information. So where was I working? How much was my experience? So to which date, from which date I worked where? So this information. And organization. So what is my position? Who is my manager? And which department I work? So all this organizational information. And job. So what are all my specific duties in the organization? So how it is attached to my pay. So this job information, and how much I'm going to be paid. What is my salary? So what is my what are my deductions? What are all my insurance payments? And this kind of, and what is my expected date of performance bonus. So all these payment related information. So all these information will be part of this module, and all the employee related movements will be processed in this module. So there are specific concepts when it comes to employee central, which is specific to, or which is only for SuccessFactor, role-based permissions, corporate data and foundation modules, employee data upload, self-service and workflows, integration, object and rule management, position management, time off, and global benefits. So if you could see, when I take you to the course, these all will be main topics which I would be covering and taking you through on how to configure or how to make this functionality work in SuccessFactor. So each of these will be specific topics for me to take you through and show you in the system and make you practice on how you would be doing them. Okay. So before I go to the Q3 updates, any questions?
Once again, yeah. What is this time off means?
Time off is that's what I'm going now. So a time off is basically how the time is managed for the team members, okay, for the employees in the organization. So this is where all the absences for the when I go on leave. So which leaves are applicable for me, and what kind of leave I am going, how much is the leave balance I have, okay, and what kind of an holiday calendar. So what are all my public holidays, what are all my paid holidays during an year, and what timings I would work. Do I work on a rotating shift, or do I work on a morning shift, or do I work on a single shift? Do I work on Saturday, Sunday? So all these questions, all these aspects of how I'm going to be paid when it comes to time, how my leaves are being accounted, how my leaves are being credited, is what we do in time off. Okay, so defining the holiday calendar, saying that August 15th is a public holiday. So that's what we will be learning on, how to define a holiday calendar in the system. And as an administrative associate, for example, what time I work, what is my break time, what is my allowed break time. So that's what is all work schedule is about. And we have something called time profile, where this holiday calendar, work schedule, and the time types are all attached to a time profile, and that time profile will be attached to an employee. So what is a time type? Time type is basically a type of leave. It could be sick leave, or it could be a vacation, it could be earned leave, or I'm taking an FMLA, a medical leave. So all these types of leaves will be captured under time type. So for if you take an employee, there will be an holiday calendar, a specific work schedule, and allowed time types for the for that employee, and that employee will be assigned to a time profile where all these parameters will be attached. Okay, so this if you see the slide, you could know employee central time off is basically the time management process application enabling on time and paperless approval. So when I say paperless approval, if you have to go on a medical leave, you should get it approved by your manager. So all these forms will not be used. The paper forms will not be used. So when I log in as an employee, I will be able to apply leave where this leave will automatically be routed to my manager. So when my manager is able to see the leave and approve it, and that gets recorded in the system as my leave approved. So the whole process will happen in SuccessFactors system. And how we are going to configure a leave, how this approval process is going to be configured, and how does this workflow go is what we will be seeing under employee central time off. Okay. And then going forward, there is, as I told you, other than employee central time off, we have other modules where I told about compensation. So employee central payroll. So if you see, this is also one another application which enables us to process payroll for employees on a cloud-based platform. So I would log in and I would be able to monitor each process in payroll. When I say each process in payroll, so as a first activity, I need to ensure that the team members have applied their absences, have updated their leaves. And then the second, if I'm going to go for an positive time management. When I say positive time management, when my paid hours is based on my time in and time out and how much hours I work in a day when I am an hourly employee. So all this time in and out data for every day has to be processed. And if I have a specific additional payment, if I have a bonus payment, or if I have a one-time incentive payment that needs to be given to the team member, so that needs to be entered into the system. And if you see for India, because this is basically the screenshot is showing you for a team member for UK and USA, but if you take for India, is the team member doing an voluntary PF, a provident fund. So what is the, so all this payment related information and deductions can be handled by SAP SuccessFactor, and you would be able to, there are specific, when payroll is being run in an enterprise resource application, like SAP or SuccessFactor, there are different kind of process or checkpoints which needs to be done even for us to process payroll. So all these payroll process can be done on the cloud operation through SAP SuccessFactor. But the point here is SAP payroll will be hosted. When I say hosted, the backend will always be SAP in this case. When you see Employee Central, where I told you that these applications can be done on cloud basis, all these will form part of the cloud database itself. So all this information will be stored in cloud. Okay. But when it comes to Employee Central Payroll, the backend which would be working will be SAP. All the information will be stored in SAP and it will be fetched and shown as through a front end screen, which will be hosted by SuccessFactor. Okay, so there are specific integration tool that will help us to integrate SAP and SuccessFactor when it comes to payroll. So I will anyway take you through the integration tools in the coming slides. Okay, so so having taken you through that, and let me finish the benefits part also. So when I say benefit, do you have any idea what is a benefit?
Is it something related to providing employees some allowance kind? Allowances, something.
Okay, you're almost there. See, we get medical insurance from the employer, right? And we get provident fund contribution from employer, right? So all this insurance, kinds of insurance, and when I say or the provident fund contribution, employer's provident fund contribution, or the pension plans, whatever is being given. So all these indirect source, monetary income source are called benefits. Okay, you don't get that as a cash, but we will be getting the monetary benefit of it, but we will not be getting the cash for those aspects. So those are called benefits. Okay, so when it comes to benefits, so what kind of a benefit is it? It's called, so when I say what kind of a benefit, it is in terms of SAP or in terms of ERP, it is called as a benefit type. Okay, and what are all the rules? So if I have to contribute to if I want to contribute to PF, what are all the rules? How much the employer will contribute, how much I will contribute, and what is the percentage that the employer will contribute based on my contribution, and what is the eligibility? So will I be eligible on the first day of joining the organization, or I will have to wait for 1 year for me to contribute to the PF? So, and what is the cost? So if I am contributing 20 rupees, then how much will the employer contribute? So what is my cost? And so when I say my cost, then there would be a deduction from payroll, right? My salary will be reduced to that extent. So how do I send my deduction when I fix I am going to contribute 100 rupees for my savings for PF. So how will that be affected in payroll? So all this aspects will be part of the benefits application. Okay, so we will be defining in the system the different benefit types, how the benefits what are the conditions for that benefits, what is the cost that will be for each benefit type for an employee based on his joining criteria or based on the organization's criteria. And when it comes to different countries, there are different type of benefits. So if it is India, when I say PF, for US it is we have medical insurance, we have dental, we have vision, and we have a savings plan called 401k savings plan, and we have accident insurance. So there are different types of insurance, or sorry, benefits that is applicable for each country, and some of them are legal, which needs to be definitely done. Okay, and we will also be seeing on how each benefits will work when it comes to different events for an employee. So when an employee gets married, then he needs to include that person as a dependent, and that person has to be given as a nominee. So when I leave the company, when I have my PF balance, then I need to transfer the PF balance, or I want to close the PF balance. So what do I do? So all this process we will study on how to do it in SAP SuccessFactor, so that it will help you when you actually go and work in the system with an organization. Okay, so these are I'm just taking you through some of the updates for that have been happening, or the upgrades that has been happening on the SuccessFactor area when it comes to employee central. So this slide shows you the developments or the upgrades which SuccessFactor has been bringing about every year or every quarter in order to make its functionality, systems functionality more user friendly and more efficient. Okay, so if you see in 2015, Employee Central was more concentrating on when the employee moves from one location to another, from a department to another, or when these are all the basic actions that can happen for an employee. When you see for 2015, they were trying to support these kind of functions. In Q1 2016, what happened was the modules which would be getting information from Employee Central, for example, performance management, development, recognition. So all this was enhanced in Q1 2016. In Q2 2016, there were again certain functionalities that take information from an Employee Central was enhanced. In Q3 2016, if you could see the onboarding step, they created one more step which would make the system more efficient. So how an employee will onboard, so how will they exit interview, so all these steps were enhanced, were developed. So these were how the system is being still upgraded, and they are trying to make it more user friendly and more business efficient. So if you could see here, currently SAP SuccessFactor is supporting around 79 localized country versions. When I say 79 localized country versions, I would be able to even set the language of that country and work. If I belong to Korea, I can set the language setting as Korea, where all my information which I could display, which I would be working, will be displayed in Korean, and I will be able to type in Korean where that could be used as my communication language. So 79 countries can be supported by SAP SuccessFactor, and there are certain countries for which it has enhanced the localization. So when I say France, previously French could not be supported. Now French could be supported language. Then we have the new year transaction which was developed, and position management. So this I may need to take a little more information, time on what position management is all about. We will see through when we actually go during the course about position management. Okay. And people profile improvement. So when you see the screen on a specific employee, you could see there are certain more features that's being added, which gives you more and better information of the employee themselves, when either being looked by them or looked by another team member who wants to know more about a colleague. Okay. So we saw about Employee Central time off. So these are some of the Q3 2016 updates, which comes up in SuccessFactor. Okay, I am not reading it through each one of them, because these are basically the functionality improvements. So when you actually start knowing the system, you will know what this functionality is about, and you will be able to appreciate it when you know the system. But I'm just stopping for a few moments so that you can read through and just try to know what they are working on and what they have brought for Q3 2016. So going forward with payroll and benefits. So if you could see now, SAP SuccessFactor could basically help us on or assist us with 38 localized country versions, because each country has its own payroll regulations and requirements. So in order to adhere to that, SuccessFactor, even though SAP is being used as a backend, SuccessFactor should be having the necessary screens, right? Because it's going to be the front end. So in order to facilitate the different country requirements and information that needs to be stored for an employee. Now SuccessFactor is able to support 38 localized country versions. So it is able to support 38 countries now. They were slowly developing on this because payroll is not the base or the strong applications when it comes to SuccessFactor. SAP is so strong in it. So after the merger, SuccessFactor had to enhance its functionality when it comes to payroll so that they will be able to be in par with SAP and able to go along with them. So these were some of the developments that was brought out for Q3 2016. Going ahead with the next HR module. So this, I would say, is one of the best feature or the module that is being given by SuccessFactor, where it could not meet SAP could not even stand before the functionalities that is being offered by SuccessFactor. So what is performance and goal management is all about? So with workforce becoming very competitive and global markets being open, it has been a great challenge for the organization to retain the talented people, which can be achieved only through effective goal setting and evaluation process. So here SuccessFactor, SAP SuccessFactor provides a platform to build and create a roadmap for performance and goal management for an organization. So what is goal management and goal execution is all about? So when I say goal management, so when you join an organization, they would say these are all your set of duties which you are expected to perform, and these are all your targets which you need, which you are supposed to achieve at the end of the year. So those are called the goals. So setting up of goals, creating a goals template. So you get a if you know, you will be getting a worksheet saying these are all your set of targets for the next year. So that's basically called a template in the system. Defining the goal period, goal setting, approval process. So this is what is all about on goal management. And you have something called performance management, where they have set you the goals, then they will have to evaluate you, right, as an employee. So to evaluate TM's performance and complete the review processes, performance management is what is all about. That's what it takes. And there is something called an 360 multi-rater reviews offered by SAP SuccessFactor, where not only just your manager, there can be your colleague or there can be your subordinate who will be able to give feedback on what you are about and what is your performance, so that they will be able to get a 360-degree view of what you are all about and how much you performed in the company. So when it comes to...
Is it, I have a question here. Is it something related to, yeah, I have a question here. Is it something related to appraisal, what you're talking about, 360 multi-rating review?
Yes.
Giving the rating to the employee?
Yes.
And what is the difference between this SAC ranker and this 360 multi-rating review?
Okay. See, SAC ranker, basically, it facilitates ranking multiple employees based on the performance at the same time. For example, in an organization, in a department, okay, there are 3 different associates. Okay, so if physically you will have to appreciate them, because see what happens is there will be something called, you know, curve fitting in organizations, where they will say when you have 3 administratives, you can give 1 to 1 person, 2 to one person and 3 to one person. Okay, that's what your manager will be getting directives from the upper management. So a manager would like to see out of 3 to whom he should give 1, to whom he should give 2, and to whom he should give 3. Okay, so when I'm able to, in a single screen, when I'm able to see all 3 of them in one screen on the different parameters of performance, you will be able to assess to whom you need to give it, or it will become a very tough task for you to literally have the papers and check who is doing what. You understand? So
Yeah.
stack ranker will basically at a screen where you could call more than one employee's performance on the screen, and you could evaluate, you could see what was their performance and rank them basically based on their performance levels. Okay, it's a part of the appraisal process, but it is one process where it will be done by the managers level, where they would have to they will have a specific numbers to rate. They will not be having they cannot, if 3 team members are there, they cannot give A for all 3 team members and say my all 3 team members did good. There will be directives from the upper management saying this is what we call it as curve fitting. Okay, where they will try to fit the according to them, the upper management would have given, you can give a rating 1 to 1 team member, rating 2 to 1 team member, rating 3 to 1 team member. You cannot give rating 1 to all 3 members. That's what their directives would be. So in that case, this will help them to do that activity. Okay, so how do you create a stack ranker? How do you make display 3 team members or multiple team members in one screen? And what are all the parameters you would like to consider when you want to do a stack ranking for your subordinates is what you would be studying in this module. Okay, in this sub module. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And so again, when I say stack ranker, we have something called calibration, where when individually when manager is rating all the three team members, you would have rated 1 for all 3 team members. Okay, but I will then using the stack ranker, you will realize he cannot do all these 3 team members at one. So what he will do, he will try to adjust certain skill ratings to 5 to 4, 4 to 3, and try to adjust it so that he can bring them at 1, 2, 3. So that's what you will do in calibration. Okay, you typically adjust the ratings and try to make it on what is your desired result. Okay, so that's what you do in calibration. So so we will be learning on how to execute and how to make the system work on all these aspects, which is, these are all the, when I say applications, it is basically the business sub processes when it comes to performance or the appraisal. Okay, so when an appraisal, when you basically sit down and write what is appraisal all about, you will write all these, saying there would be a goal, there would be a plan on how the goal will be executed, and there will be an appraisal that will be conducted, and based on the appraisal, the management will decide on what to be rated and how much to be rated. So splitting all these process for performance is what is you are seeing as an application here, and that's what you will be learning in the system. Okay. So just to give you a glimpse on where you do all these configuration settings in SuccessFactor, I have just highlighted each one of them to show you where you would be doing it. Okay. This is how an SAP SuccessFactor instance looks. And this is where when you configure, when it comes to goal management or performance management, 360 reviews, etc. Okay. So these are some of the developments, upgrades, which has been brought up by SuccessFactor for Q3 2016. I'm not reading each one of them. I'm just giving you time to glance on the slide. So the next module which we would be covering is the recruiting and onboarding. Okay, this process or this module or this application, whatever you want to call it, facilitates to create, manage and administer the recruiting process right from creating a vacant position to candidate evaluation and hiring them through efficient approval process. So this application enables effective onboarding of hired team members by facilitating them to submit and complete the onboarding formalities. So if you could see here, anywhere in the management your courses, you would have studied what recruitment is all about. So first you will create a request for the position, where then you will do a marketing of the position. You will put the ad for that position. You will try to create a job requisition, and you will put that ad where you market and say I have, our company is having this position open. So that's what we so on that terms, what are all the activities you would be doing? So you will have a search engine. There will be a distribution of smart job distribution. You will have a social marketing engine which will help you to broadcast the requirement. You can also use the mobile to optimize the requirement, to tell them that we have an open position, and you have marketing campaigns where you advertise saying that we are open for an hiring. So all these marketing activities, and how do you engage them? So for when the candidate is going and checking the requirement, so how do you engage them? So that's what all these activities when it comes to engagement. And once you get the resume and you want to evaluate the candidate, right? So how do you evaluate? So in system context, what are all the activities that would be doing for each processes when you want to select a candidate is what we see on management. So once you selected a candidate and you offer propose the offer letter, then you welcome him, where you will be doing the onboarding activities. So the concepts or the specific sub-modules which we would be working on and trying to understand and make it function in SAP SuccessFactors would be job requisition, candidate profile and application, candidate management, and offer management. Okay, so this is what is all on recruiting and onboarding. So these are some of the 2016 upgrades that SuccessFactors has brought when it comes to this functionality. So going ahead with the next module. So what is succession and development is? What is it all about? So this helps organization proactively plan for organizational change by giving visibility to existing talent pools and potential talent gaps. So when I say this, when I have a director whom when I say the management is thinking that he would leave the organization soon. So when we are trying to find a replacement, so that's called a successor. He will be a successor, right? So how do you work on the succession? So when you know that a director is going to leave, and when you know there is a person who can be who can be promoted to that position. It's not only that you need to identify a person, and you also need to develop that person in order to make him take the job and work on the job when the director leaves the organization, right? So on that context, this module is what it deals with. So it provides the tools, reports, and search capabilities needed to identify quality successors for an organization. And the capabilities of this module. So what all it helps me? So it helps me to have an succession organization chart, where by defining this, we will be able to view who can be a possible successor for each important and critical position in the organization. So it will help me to do a talent search to see what are all the capabilities across the organizations I have. It will help me on creating a performance potential matrix. I can compare side by side two team members to see who can qualify better. I can have an employee scorecard, instant nominations, where when I want to nominate a specific employee in the organization to say that he can do this. So that functionality can be done here. And a succession lineage chart. So it will basically tell you if this person leaves. So if this person leaves, so what happens if each person in the organizational hierarchy is going to leave? Who is going to replace them? So if you could see here in this slide, you can see how the succession organization chart can show you the different person who can handle the sales director position, and what all I could do on the system perspective in order to make it more effective. So we will be learning on how to make all this happen. So when you want to when your company is asking you to implement succession and development, how do you do all these concepts so that you will be able to set the system right? This is what we will be seeing during the course. And a few minutes on the upgrades for Q3 2016, which was shown in this slide. Okay, so the next chapter is the next application which we would be coming to know is workforce analytics, planning and reporting. Workforce analytics, this creates insights on how investments in human capital impact business outcomes. So when I say this module will basically get information from all the applications which you saw before, and it will process those data and it will try to give you an analytical report which helps you in planning to see what needs to be done next for the workforce. So in SuccessFactor, initially there were only legacy reports, where legacy reports had 5 different kinds of reports: dashboards, list views, spotlight views, spreadsheet, and classic. So what happened in 2013? There were developments that was worked on, and 3 more capabilities were introduced, where we have again it's called dashboards, but it is little different on how it looks, because there will be a pictorial representation of organizational manpower usage status on the new dashboard functionality. You can have ad hoc reports. When I say ad hoc reports, you will be able to fetch different parameters that's needed for a report manually, drag, drop, you can get a report out of it. And we have something called online report designer, where it will be a custom report, because if the organization feels they want some other specific report, which is not catered out of the reports which is mentioned earlier, then they might go for a custom report, where as a success factor consultant, you will be in a position, or you will be needed to create a report as per the customer's requirement. So we basically call it as a custom report. So you can create a custom report when none of the reports which is already available with SAP SuccessFactor meets the requirement of the customer. So these are some of the Q3 2016 updates. All these Q3 updates might not be more familiar for you, because as you are new to SAP SuccessFactor, but this would when you actually learn SAP SuccessFactor, this will help you to identify and also analyze and try to check in the system how to make this work. Okay, that's why I wanted to just give you an and even when you go to an interview, when they ask you, is this functionality available in SuccessFactor, you should be able to know what's happening on the SuccessFactor world, so that it will help you to say, yes, this functionality is there, or this functionality is not there. So this is just one extra step to make you know what's happening currently. So next is the training module. We call it as an learning management system. This system is more like a training system. Okay, so this will help you to develop, deploy, and manage a comprehensive learning program for the employees. So when I say training, I have questions on what kind of training, when is the training, so what is how should I register, and what is the price of the training, who is going to be the instructor. So all these questions is nothing but the key concepts which we would be learning, and we would be knowing on how to make all these concepts set in the system for it to be used. But one thing which I wanted to tell you when it comes to learning management system is, LMS is an independent system by itself and not hosted under SuccessFactor application. So when I say this, I'm just going through a couple of slides before to tell you how it differs. So let me see if I have okay, I'll take you here. See, if you see here, this is the SuccessFactor instance where you could see goal management, performance management, 360 reviews, or onboarding, employee files. So all these are sub-modules by itself, where you will be configuring them or working on them as an administrator. Okay, but when it comes to LMS, you will not be having an option on the instance. You will be directed to another server where you would be working on the configuration. So it is an independent system, and it is not an system or an functionality that is available within the SuccessFactor application. Okay. So
I have a question here, Lavanya.
Yes, Swapna.
Is it whatever you said, LMS is a on-premise, it is a part of the cloud base?
No, it's part of the cloud base. It is part of the cloud base, but I can one second. Let me see. If you see learning management system, I don't see. If you see learning in the screenshot on the third one, on the third thing, okay. So what happens when you go to 360 reviews and click on it? Okay, you can see all the configuration nodes, right? We call it configuration nodes. Okay, but when you go to learning, it will take you to another server, and there you will do. It will take you to different page.
Okay, not in the same thing, not in the same instance.
Yes. Okay, but the login and password will be the same. Okay, but it will direct you to another link.
Okay.
Okay. So So these are the upgrades for Q3 2016 when it comes to learning management system. So they have made it more collaborative, more content can be seen. So couple of things which was enhanced during Q3 2016. So next module is, when I say JAM, this is not an HR function by itself, okay, but it is a collaboration tool. So JAM, this plays an important role in the following application in SuccessFactor. So when it comes to learning, onboarding, or the foundation or employee central, where this will be kind of an information exchange platform. Okay, so this JAM platform, this JAM application will gather information from the different sources when it comes to an employee, and you can share information when it comes to these modules. So you can use it as a blog to share information between the team members, and you can also gather information on learning, you can gather information on onboarding, where you can initiate discussions within your employee in the organization in order to make it more effective and more communication efficient. Okay.
It will be within the team?
It depends upon the access which you are going to have when it comes to JAM. Okay, so it depends upon what all you could see. So if if for my access, if I could share information only with regards to my unit, my department, then I would be able to see only my department. But for a training coordinator, he should be able to see across the organization, right? So he would be able to gather and communicate with the employees across the organization. So it depends upon the level of access which I'm being given. Got it?
Yeah.
So if you see, when JAM was started, there were very little things which could be done when it comes to JAM and SAP SuccessFactor learning. So in 2015 when it started, there were groups in SAP JAM bound to a course. Then it was upgraded. Again, it was upgraded. Now they have upgraded to such an extent where, if as an external LMS user, where I am not part of the company, but I was a candidate who applied for the company, I would be able to access certain learnings if the company's policies says okay with that. Okay, so to that extent it has been enhanced. So you could see how much flexible and how much scope the system has when it comes to the HR functionalities on the whole. So I took you through what is all about the different modules, just to give you an idea on the different instances which we would be seeing, or different environments which we would be seeing when it comes to SuccessFactor. We basically have something called provisioning, and we have something called an admin. Okay. So what is this provisioning is all about? So if you could see, as an implementation consultant, you should be knowing what I can do in provisioning, what I could do on an admin system. So I don't expect an answer, but I just want to know if any of you have heard about these two systems. Okay, so Swapna?
Yeah.
You want
Admin is related to something. No idea. You just go on. Yeah.
Okay. See, provisioning can be called the backend and specific backend system, and there are specific steps that are carried out in provisioning during implementation. Okay. So I will take you through in detail on what all you would be doing in provisioning and where you do when during the course. But this slide is just an information on what all is provisioning about. So there are specific configurations because provisioning will be the starting system for us to work on SAP, but that is not the system which we would be using on an day-to-day basis, or I would say out of 100% when I say configuration, 5% of configuration will be you will be doing in the provisioning system. Okay, so all the basic necessary permissions for a module or basic integrations to happen. So all these kind of basic startup things will be done in provisioning. So I've just tried to list what all you would be doing in provisioning, but I will take you through one by one probably tomorrow. Then if you want to go ahead with the course, where what each screen on what is provisioning is about. So what all you do, how to activate things in provisioning. So these are the specific, when you see in the slide, specific features are activated in provisioning. So specific configurations are done in provisioning, and certain uploads are done only at the provisioning level. Okay, and instance, one admin. So when I say admin or one admin or instance, what is it all about? So when I say instance, I would say it would be the same login for an user and it would be the same login for an admin. Okay, but how does it differentiate between an administrator and an user is through the rights, admin rights. So it would be the same instance. So when I say I'm going to access SuccessFactor, an administrator, SAP SuccessFactor administrator, and an SAP SuccessFactor end user will be logging in with the same URL. Okay, but when they log in, the user will be seeing a different screen, but the administrator will be seeing a different screen, where the administrator will be having specific authorizations to work on the configurations. Okay, but an user will just be able to work on the processes that has been created in the system. So what all configurations you will be doing in one admin or an admin or whatever you call, 90% or 95% of all the configurations for each module will happen here. Okay, I have just listed out them in points, but we will be going through in detail on how to do each one of them. So probably tomorrow I would be taking you through on the home page styles and how do you create user accounts. So those kind of stuffs will be our initial sessions on how to navigate or how do you do certain basic things as an administrator. So these are again some more set of configurations that will form part of the admin system. Okay, so I told you on what is SuccessFactor. Then I explained you on the functions, HR functions, what the SuccessFactor is supporting us. Then we saw about the different systems that would be coming, that we would be working when it comes to SuccessFactor. So how does the architecture look? How does the SuccessFactor architecture look in terms of a technical person? So what happens is there will be an employee who will be accessing it through the interface. So I will be having an URL and I'll be having an ID and a password, and not just an ID and a password. I'll be given something called as a company ID. Okay. So when I log in into the company ID with my ID and password, at the cloud level, on the when I see on the cloud perspective, what happens is a success factor is a multi-tenant architecture. So as it is a cloud-based application, there will not be any specific hardware database sitting in the office of the client. So everything is managed under cloud. So when everything is managed under cloud, how does success factor know which client or how to give them what is the client specific configurations and the system settings? So what happens is, when I have a company ID, each company ID will be having a if you visualize, there will be a kind of a specific container where it will be processed through a schema, and that schema will have specific configuration settings. So company A will be having a company ID and a user ID and a password. So using the company ID, when a user is going to access the system, the cloud will be able to identify based on the schema, and it will give out these features and the screens and the process that is configured for that client. Okay. And for the data integration, there are third-party applications which gets integrated at the tenant level, so that there are the interfaces which is, or the third-party application which is applicable for each tenant will be opened up when they access it through the company ID. Okay. So this is on the system architecture wise. So this is little technical because for an functional consultant, how does it help me? So so on the application side, how it is structured, how does it go? So the core HR, the platform for everything will be the core HR modules, where the employees record keeping, employees organization information, benefits, his personal information, payroll information. So all those information will form the base platform for core HR. Okay. Above that, we will be having the talent management applications, where recruiting, onboarding, learning, goals and performance management, compensation. So all these modules will run above the core HR module, where they will get information from the core HR module in order to process these applications on the talent management layer. Okay. Then what happens? We will have the workforce analytics and workforce planning laying above it, where based on the information that's being processed and used and run and administered under core HR and talent management, the information is gathered and used for workforce analytics and planning, so that it gives us reports based on the employees' performance or employees' organization data, or the employees' benefits, or the training that has been taken by the employee. So whatever it is. So above all, the social interaction platform will sit, where they will basically be exchanging information between each module. So we speak about the different modules and the different layers, and we speak about two different systems. So I had been always telling you SAP is a different system and SuccessFactors is a different system, and they are merging together to become SAP SuccessFactor. So when we speak about two systems, then we need to know how, and when we speak about two systems giving the same applications, how does the transition happen to one system to another? So when I am using performance management in SAP, and I want to go to SuccessFactor, but how will I do it? What are the options that SAP SuccessFactor is offering me? So if you could see, there could be three scenarios. Either a talent hybrid system where the core HR will be on premise. All the employee information, time off, timekeeping, benefits, everything will be handled at SAP ERP on-premise solution. Only the talent solutions and the workforce planning and analytics will be happening on the cloud. So a client SAP is offering a talent hybrid solution where it says you can use SAP ERP for core HR and use talent solutions and workforce planning and workforce analytics on the cloud. Else, it is also giving you another option solution where it's called side-by-side HCM, where I will have a core HR and that core HR will get information to the cloud core HR, and the cloud core HR data will be exchanged to the talent solutions and workforce planning and analytics. So this is another option where I can have both system in place. On premise I can have, at the same time I can have data in the cloud. So but the client says no, I want to fully have data in cloud. In that case, SAP ERP will remain as a platform for other modules, not for HR. It could be for finance or it could be for production planning or something. But for HR, every process will be done on the cloud solution. Okay. So these are the different three options which SAP is offering to its customers in order to make use of the cloud platform. Okay. So when I have three different solutions, so definitely I should be passing information from one system to another, right? So there are two systems in place. So when it's going to be an option one, for the option one, I can have an FTP, SFTP way of sending the information or passing the information from on-premise to the talent solutions, where FTP is the full form is file transfer protocol or secure file transfer protocol, where there will be specific files which will be sent from SAP to SuccessFactor. Or the second option is I can have an online on-time, real-time data transfer where there will not be any files, but whenever there is an SAP data that is being changed for a team member, it will automatically go and update the talent management solutions that's run on the cloud basis. So that is one solution. And the third solution is the cloud platform, SAP HANA, where you upgrade your database itself, where you don't need to have an integration tool separately. The HANA cloud tool will help you to sync automatically and exchange information between the two systems. Okay, this is basically on how the integration happens. So having told you about the integration, so these are some of the updates for 2016. If you see for Q3 2016, SAP Hybris Cloud, that's SAP Hybris is basically a different functional module where they have made it integrate with SAP HR. That was one of the greatest enhancement which SAP SuccessFactor could do. So this is basically on for Q3 2016 when it comes to integration. So today we saw about all of them on what SuccessFactor is about, the modules, different systems, how SuccessFactor could what are the different methods of integration and the architecture. So if you could see in this slide, currently for Q3 2016, SuccessFactor has got around the major deal with Accenture, where 480,000 employees will be managed under the SuccessFactor cloud platform, and they have won a deal with HSBC UK. So when I tell you that these companies are using it, so definitely there are opportunities for us where we would be working on SuccessFactor in any one of the organizations. So if you could see, there are around 1,250 customers using SAP SuccessFactor Employee Central, and 4,900 customers using the HCM suite, and there are 37 million users for JAM. So SuccessFactor is growing, and that's what the future would be for us. When you want to enter into the corporate world where ERP, enterprise resource planning, is widely used, applications are widely used. So this is what is all about. So any specific questions you can ask me?
I have a question, Lavanya.
Yes,
in real time, we'll be working on all the modules, or we will be working on specified modules?
Okay.
Like recruitment.
Okay. See, what happens is there are two aspects. Okay. Either you could be an implementation consultant, or you could be an SuccessFactor administrator. Okay, so if you are an implementation consultant, you will be working only on a specific module.
Okay.
Okay, but if you are going, because as SuccessFactor is very huge, they will not be asking you to implement Employee Central and Performance and Goals Management together by yourself.
Okay.
Okay, so even in Employee Central, there will be a different consultant for doing the role-based permissions. If you could recollect, that's one of the main one of the important concept for Employee Central. So there would be specific consultants for each module. Okay, but when it comes to an SAP SuccessFactor administrator, okay, we will be doing 3 roles in one. One, we would be working as a functional consultant, where we will be working on the requirements for configuration. Okay, and we will be working as a technical consultant, where if there needs to be a specific to give you more information, we have something called XML files. Okay, so those XML files is where some of the basic objects are changed, or some of the basic objects are added. Okay, so when you have to work on the XML files, then you would you are nothing but a technical consultant. Okay, and we also work as a security consultant, where users account will have to be managed by an administrator.
You mean to say providing the username and the login ID, something like that?
Login
Password?
ID, resetting their password when a new employee is arriving, setting them an instance, and creating their ID password, sending them an welcoming email. So all those things will be done as a security consultant. Okay, so the main challenging part is when you are as an SAP SuccessFactor administrator joining an organization where SAP SuccessFactor is already implemented. Your role would be 3 folds.
Okay.
Okay, so one is as a functional consultant, second is as a technical consultant, and third one is as a security consultant. Okay, for that you would not be having specific module wise administrators.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shweta,
Lavanya?
you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Any more questions, Swapna?
No, Lavanya.
Okay.
So,
So
like,
just to,
when will the next session, like, I just want to know the details when the next session will be started, or it is already started or what?
see, that's what I told you, right? Because today the participants were new. Because this will be my introduction session. Because if I go to this the next session, I will be getting I will be referring provisioning. I'll be referring admin. So when I have to give you an exposure on what is provisioning, what is admin, when I actually take you through these screens, right? So today is the first session. Okay. So
Okay.
if you could confirm today, I can go ahead with the one tomorrow, and it would just go on. The course will just go on. But if you want to think and come back, let the institute know. But I would be taking the session tomorrow if there is an confirmation. Actually, there was one person who was supposed to join today, but I didn't know if there was a communication to the institute. So I just have to wait for them to know whether there be a session tomorrow. But I can go ahead and take, if you're going to confirm to join, I can go ahead and take you through the course as such.
Okay. And one more thing, Lavanya, I have a question here. Since we are not aware of this SAP HR, will it be difficult for us to proceed further learning the success factor?
No, not at all. Because I feel it is better if
Entirely
you don't
different.
know SAP. Because normally because I am an SAP consultant who have almost 10 years, who worked in almost 10 years in SAP. Okay. So when I started learning success factor, I was trying to map everything in terms of SAP, which did not actually work out when it comes to success factor, because SAP is structured differently and success factor is structured totally different. Okay, so if you try to apply those concepts from SAP, it's like it will not fit in. You will have to do little more study on success factor. So as long as you know HR processes, that should be good for me to explain you what is it all about.
Okay. So you mean to say in SuccessFactor we won't be having any T code, something like that, where as in we need to remember, it's only the navigation part?
Yes, you will have to remember the navigation paths.
Okay, no T codes such type, right?
No transaction codes, no.
Okay.
Okay, so what you need to remember is what the process is all about, so that if you say manage templates, when you know manage templates, that word you can type and type manage templates, it will take you to that node. Okay, so you don't have to know where in personal administration, employee data, then performance management, manage templates. No, you don't have to know the configuration node. You don't have something called as a configuration node. Okay, when I say we don't have a configuration node, you will not have to go by tree structure. So the challenge in SAP SuccessFactors is all the configurations are spread across here and there. Okay, so unless and until someone tells you, you cannot know that this will be here. But when it comes to, it's because you told about transaction codes, I'm just giving you a reference. But when it comes to SAP, if you want to know all the relevant nodes on SAP for payroll, if you go and click on payroll, all those nodes will drop down. You can at least search each one by one and see what's happening in that each node and read the notes. But that is not possible in SuccessFactor. So unless and until someone tells you, or you have a reference document to help you, you will not be able to find out where that option is. Yeah.
Yes. And one more thing, you'll be providing us the recorded sessions in case if, let's suppose if I have some problem, I miss the class. So then how to go further? Like you'll be providing the recorded sessions?
Yes, all session will be recorded, Swapna.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it will be provided. If you say I missed, I want to have the session, the institute can provide you, or I can provide you based on who is going to record it. Yeah.
And the document parts, everything will be provided, right?
Yes, yes.
What are the slides you are showing?
Probably slides I might not be giving you, but because I basically prepare for each, because if whatever I stopped you today, okay, I will start from tomorrow, okay, and I will prepare based on what I left today, and I will be preparing it based on how much I covered today, okay, so it might differ, and but we will be providing you the materials which would be in line with what I am going to take you through.
Okay.
Okay, so that will help you.
Okay. Is it a 1 month course?
Sorry?
30, is it a 30 days course?
No. It will definitely be 6 weeks, but I think it will go till 7 to 8 weeks. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it will be around 1.5 months or 2 months. Okay, because the system is big. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, in the next session, we will be taking you through, I will be taking you through on each course content and what is the plan, and how long each module will take, and which week what we are going to cover. So everything I will be taking you through in the next session, in this session that will happen tomorrow or on Monday.
Okay. And one more thing, the timing will remain the same or it will change?
No, the timing will not change till for some time, because we had an what do you call time? Our clock was changed 1 hour back from November 5th, so the timing would be changed the same timing.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's all, Lavanya.
Okay, so if all the questions are done, so we will talk. Let the institute know what you want to do. We can take it further.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shweta, if you don't have any questions, you can think and let the institute know. We will talk later. Thank you, Shweta. Thank you, Swapna.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, see you. Yeah.